In 1962, after the success of Marvel's Fantastic Four series, creator Stan Lee was told to come up with a new character. He came up with a teenage hero with personal problems and powers, where he could stick to walls and crawl on them. The idea was shut down, but as the Marvel Amazing Fantasy comic series was shutting down, the hero was written into the last issue, Amazing Fantasy number 15. Featuring the Amazing Spider-Man. The comic, of course, became a hit. Spider-Man got many comics, TV shows, movies, toys, and of course, video games. Spider-Man is a franchise that's over 60 years old, so there's obviously way too many games to cover in just one sitting. So here's a selection of games. And after me still recovering from the best Spider-Man movie ever, being No Way Home, since it's been a huge success with the extended edition being released in theaters, since Spider-Man No Way Home celebrated around 20 years of Spider-Man movies, I'll be celebrating around 40 years of Spider-Man video games. This is the amazing world of Spider-Man video games. Let's begin. The very first Spider-Man game was for the Atari 2600, released in 1982 by Parker Brothers. Kinda coincidental, you know? Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Parker, but this joke sucks.
You're pathetically predictable. Like a moth to the flame.
Damn, they didn't have to go that hard. Like all the Atari games, the plot and gameplay is short and simple. You play as Spidey climbing up the building to stop the Green Goblin from his chessboard. Oh, okay, his super bomb. Either I'm really bad at this, or it's that challenging. You know what? This game's amazing. I feel like Spider-Man. Yep, just like Spider-Man. Now, if the mechanics of the gameplay are advanced, then I wonder who's gonna be at the top of the building this time. Maybe the Rhino, Electro, the Vulture? Who knows? And it's just the Green Goblin again. Okay. But for a licensed Atari game, it's pretty good. It's not the best game ever, but it's actually a pretty good Atari game. Maximum Carnage is based on the Spider-Man comics of the same name. This game is a beat-em-up and the combat is awesome. The sound effects on the punching and kicking are great and have some weight to it. I don't like that. Spider-Man beats up girls, what the hell? No wonder Peter Parker can't hold a date for 5 minutes. He suits up to beat up girls. Well, actually, scratch that. Actually, none of the enemies really did anything wrong. They weren't hired by Carnage or any of the other villains in the game. Not like Mario where all the enemies are Bowser's minions, Goombas, Koopas, and so on. These are just random people. Beat them up and now on to the second stage, climbing. Basic Spidey stuff. Whoever's at the top of this building shooting lightning, I'm gonna kick their ass. God, finally! So I get the choice to play as Venom or Spider-Man. Since I've been Spidey the whole time, I'm gonna try Venom. He is the more powerful after all. With the symbiote being attached to Peter Parker, he's more stronger and powerful, but has less control.
Get back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Fuck! Moving up a generation on the PlayStation 2, you take the world's best-selling console and a smash hit superhero movie, which basically revived people's faith in superhero movies, and technically being the first MCU movie, that being Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's one of those movie games that has an original story mixed with the movie's plot, and my god, the controls are terrible. Let me explain. The controls take some time to get used to. Some games that feature combat usually hit the attack button to punch and kick, or you know, in good Spider-Man games. But here, square is punch and circle is kick, which is fine, but you know what Spidey ability isn't here and that would have helped me not die 3 million times? A Spidey sense button. Some levels have the Spidey sense icon above Spider-Man's head, but you can't dodge or run out of the way. You can web zip to the nearest wall, but that only works half the time, so pick your poison. It's tough to explain. It's mainly in the web swinging and the wall crawling parts of the game. The game is linear, and when you're swinging in the city, you have a height meter and a compass. The height meter shows you where the web head is, which is the red line, and the blue line is the surface of the building you're supposed to be on. The web's attached to the air, so you just press R1 and hold the direction you want to go and hope for the best. It really holds your hand, and there's not a lot of freedom. The plot starts with finding Uncle Ben's killer by swinging around the city and beating up the gang members. Then you go to the main hideout, where the game's narrator is also a familiar Raimi character.
You see those heavily shadowed areas?
That's right, Ash himself is here. He's the narrator for when the game teaches you a new move for these question mark icons. The game also has an optional tutorial that features Bruce. Now in this level, you're told to hide in the shadows. Stealth is useless here. It never works. You have to go down to the main level anyway to go to the next part of the stage. So really, the stealth is pointless. Also, every enemy attacks you at the same time. So when you finally get away and you get to fight Uncle Ben's killer, he's so cheap and he keeps running away. After you finally beat him, a cutscene plays where, in this story, Oscorp believes that Spider-Man's DNA is the exact match as the formula that Norman has. You know the one.
Back to formula.
You also fight villains that aren't in the movie, like the Shocker. And to me, I've never really liked the design of the Shocker. He just looks like a man in a pineapple suit. I liked him in Spider-Man Homecoming, but that's not saying much, since he was barely in it and he acts like a character from Punch-Out! There's also a level with the Vulture.
Sorry, I'm a glutton for punishment.
What did he say?
Sorry, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Well, he did say he went to a place where he thought he could win some money.
Some place where I thought I could win some money.
Now take all this.
This is for you. Thanks, Hot Mix.
You fight the Shocker, the Vulture, and the Scorpion until you finally fight the Green Goblin. You save MJ from the Goblin, and people end up getting crushed by a parade balloon. What the hell?
Thanks again.
No problem. Grab hold of a rogue balloon anytime. Rescuing damsels is my specialty.
Then a similar chase level, like with the Vulture levels, but in the next level, you have to get Goblin off of his glider and go fight him. But he's such a cheap bitch. He'll annihilate you. You can try combos, but either way, he'll punch before you do, or he'll run away and throw bombs. So you gotta be quicker than him.
We are truly brothers.
Brothers, huh?
After you defeat the Goblin, you disable all the bombs around the city. Great level. In the next level, the Goblin chases Spider-Man with razor bats.
Hate those things.
In the next cutscene, Peter discovers that the razor bat is made by Oscorp. He goes to Oscorp to check things out, while Norman sees a photo of Spider-Man and MJ.
It seems I have a date tonight.
So in the next level, you search Oscorp. This level is complete bullshit. The robot guards are relentless and gun Spidey down within 5 seconds. If you make it past the robots, you have to go to the control rooms A and B, but the robots are everywhere. I used a level skip code because if the game can be unfair and cheap, so can I. So in the next level, you're in a garage, I guess, trying to take down the generators, while they all shoot at you.
This thing must have been designed.
Spider-Man goes to Norman's apartment and finds a file with pictures of MJ. To escape the building, you have to disable security systems while trying to avoid the robots. Easier said than done. I'm legitimately trying to beat these levels, but the game is too damn unfair. After I skip that bullshit, the Goblin kidnaps MJ and you have to chase him around the city. And I immediately lose him. The main problem with these chasing levels is that the Goblin will throw bombs. The Vulture did the same, but the bombs are like magnets because if you dodge them by an inch, you'll still get blown up. Once you finally catch up with Gobby, he drops MJ off at the top of the bridge and throws bombs on it. So you'll swing to MJ, drop her off at the save point, and you knock the Emerald Elf off his glider for one more fight. Maybe there's some health up here, and... Alright, so I knock Goblin on his ass and dodge his counters and bombs.
You aren't going to hurt anyone.
Once he's defeated, Spidey dodges his glider and the Goblin dies instead, and MJ is saved and the game is over. It's nice to know that Spider-Man and Peter Parker have real no condolence for Norman Osborn since he just makes out with MJ over his fresh corpse. This game is absolutely okay. Now, it's loosely based on the movie because Treyarch weren't really given any pre-screening, so they had to interpret the scenes that were represented. The game is a bit unfair and the web swinging is heavily outdated, but graphics aren't bad for a PS2 game. Well, after that disaster, let's jump 2 years later with SpiderMan 2. This game is a big step up from the previous game. Better controls, better combat, and of course, better web swinging. The game also does a better job following the movie. A few of the villains that weren't in the movie still appear though.
I'm gonna break your bones and make you cry for your mama.
Rhino, I'm gonna take a wild guess that you're strong but dumb.
Spider-Man has way cooler moves this time around, launching enemies in the air to beat them up, webbing them, then throwing them. The web swinging mechanics were programmed by one guy, changing the way the web swinging works in future Spidey games. Great job.
Impressive.
Black Cat is introduced in this game. She ends up stealing a bunch of shit until she teams up with Spidey to fight Shocker, returning from the last game. After one too many bad Daily Bugle papers about Spider-Man, he throws a fit and Black Cat tells Spider-Man to, be a superhero. Remember when I said that this game had better graphics than the last game? Well, here's a cutscene from Spider-Man 1.
Uncle Ben, murdered. I have to find the guy who did it. There's nothing Peter Parker can do at this point. But Spider-Man is a different story.
And then here's a cutscene from Spider-Man 2.
Don't let them get the case. Give us the case and you won't get hurt. I got her. Let's clear out of here. Spider, we're gonna need more men. What the hell was that?
Now, when you fight Doc Ock, it's underwhelming. You know why they make movie games? So you can relive and be in your favorite scenes. Cause the train level, that scene sucks. Also in this adaptation, Doc Ock hates Spider-Man because he caused the death of his wife Rosie. When in the movie, Spider-Man, or I guess Peter, just happens to be in the same place that Doc Ock is in, and his motive in the movie is that his arms are controlling him and telling him to rebuild the fusion reactor. Mysterio is another villain who's in here, and he's as weird as he'll ever be. He goes from challenging Spider-Man to an obstacle course, and then setting a theater on fire with hostages. What the hell? He tries to put a giant brain on the Statue of Liberty, and then he tries to rob a gas station. Oh shit, here we go!
You have trifled with...
And they kept the tradition of having the shitty final boss fight. Thank God that's finally over. Now, I understand it was a great game for the time, but now there are way better Spider-Man games out there. Now, I only have a couple games left to review. What do I got? Son of a bitch.